Hey everyone, I'm Dantier.
And I am Kurz.
From Low Manor, and in this video we're looking into the slowly building evidence towards something that players have been asking for since before the game had even left the development studios. A campaign or story mode. Before anyone gets too excited, we have to stress there is by no means any concrete statement from Blizzard. But as lore fanatics, we're very hopeful and wanted to share that with you guys.
As Dantier said, pretty much since the original reveal of the cinematic trailer back at BlizzCon 2014, fans have been clamouring for some kind of campaign, story, or general PvE mode with which to develop the Overwatch universe. Up until very recently, Blizzard have always led with the line that they wanted to expand the lore of Overwatch through the other mediums available to them, hence the 9 comics, 6 animated shorts, and selection of in-universe blogs and news reports we've gotten in a steady stream for the past 2 years. While these have generally been brilliant, and channels like ours in particular have made use of them as best we can to relay the stories to the rest of you, there's a large part of the Overwatch population that has no clue about who the characters are, where they came from, or the history of the map they're fighting on. This would be where more lore directly in-game would have the most impact. Now, to the building evidence. First up was the response Geoff, Goodman and Michael Chu gave to the very first question on the Overwatch Q&A panel a few weeks back at BlizzCon, where Geoff stated that the Halloween event, Junkenstein's Revenge, was a tester to see how the community responded to PvE content, and that they'd love to do it if they can find a way to fit it in. It was, as ever, Michael's response, delivered while grinning, much like he did when skipping past the Sombra web slide on a different panel, that he'd love to do more PvE content that made the biggest impression on me at least. Always seems like he has an idea of what's going on, but really doesn't want to tell the rest of us.
Next up is a far more recent development in the form of a job posting on the Blizzard careers site, for 2 lead software engineers to work on a robust first-person engine for an unannounced project. As we all know, Overwatch is the only game Blizzard have that runs in first person, and they developed their own engine for it. So the easy assumption to make is that these 2 roles are for either a large-scale future expansion, or, enticingly, a story or campaign mode. Maybe both. Who knows with Blizzard? It's definitely not just to bump up the existing Overwatch team, as that would be posted on the job ad. This is new. Now it's entirely possible that given the overwhelming success of Overwatch, Blizzard have taken this opportunity to expand out with FPS. They're very reticent with new IPs, so that's unlikely. But could something like StarCraft Ghost be brought from the grave? Not impossible, but we think an Overwatch-based project is much more likely. The final piece of the puzzle stems back before BlizzCon, and may not be related at all. Tom Chilton, aka Kalgan, game director of World of Warcraft, stepped down from his role on the MMO to move to another project within the company. He didn't give any more info than that. Again, it must be said Blizzard have numerous projects on the go at any given time, most of them secret from the rest of us. So this could be nothing, but the timing is interesting. It could be a Diablo, StarCraft, or even new non-WoW Warcraft project, but the fact that it could also be Overwatch is tantalising. We're not suggesting an Overwatch MMO, that seems very far-fetched, but with his pedigree he'd be great at leading a more story-based addition to the universe.
So, if we take the leap of faith that we'll be getting PvE content, what form do we think it could or even should take, with Junkenstein slated as the testbed? The most obvious point to begin with would be more cooperative group content in a similar ilk. Taking the Horde mode, you could apply it to something like the battle at the Overwatch HQ, with a group of you controlling Jack Morrison and his allies, which would very handily show us who was there with him at the time, battling against Gabriel Reyes and his Blackwatch or potentially Talon allies, depending on how the story develops.
Alternatively, they could build a much more ambitious campaign along the lines of more traditional FPS games. A fantastic one that occurs to us would almost be as a replacement to First Strike. You taking the role of one of the founding members of Overwatch in strikes against the Omnics and the Omniums. The potential to show truly epic cinematic experiences there is tantalising. You could also have a 3, or maybe more if they add more characters, Talon mission to infiltrate and assassinate a target, much like we saw with Reaper, Widow and Sombra during Infiltration. There is also of course the option to build in single player experiences, using it as a platform to build on the lore of each character. You could have a Diva mission fighting against the giant kaiju Omnics in South Korea, maybe a 76 mission infiltrating a shady company to learn the truth behind the fall of Overwatch. You could have Winston or Tracer on a mission for the new Overwatch, Junkrat and Roadhog committing another heist or escaping the bounty hunters after them, Lucio fighting against the forces of Vishkar, Zarya taking apart the second Omnic crisis. The list is pretty much endless. Blizzard have the talent and the world already in place to make these both possible and incredible.
We dearly hope that this is the sort of direction they're building towards, and creating a separate project team seems like a great plan in order to keep what is already a fantastic PvP game ticking along and developing regularly without interference. It will of course still be one game, so we'd expect rewards from the PvE portion to carry over into PvP, much like the Junkenstein sprays, and future PvP content should remain free to avoid segregation of the player base. If we're wrong, well, we can't wait to see what the project really is.
Thanks for watching this video. What do you think this unannounced first-person project is? And are we right that it's likely Overwatch, or do you reckon we're way off? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this vid, please hit that like button and sub if you want to see more. Until next time, I've been Dantier.
And I've been Kers.
Thanks for watching.